For all players hoping to touch the true entertainment. What does that even mean?
3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back to the channel and welcome to my garden. It has been a crazy few weeks here in the UK and temperatures have reached 30-ish degrees C, and that's a lot for us. I know it doesn't sound a lot to those of you who live in really hot countries, but in a world where our houses are built for insulation and keeping the warmth in, and we don't have aircon, it's been quite a killer. So I couldn't face filming this in my office with all the lights on, so I've stepped outside into my garden to make this week's video, so I hope you don't mind. It's a pickup video. It's been another month has gone by and I've got quite a bit of stuff building up that I wanted to share with you. I have had to carve up the pile that I've created and leave some really good stuff for next month, but I've got some really good stuff for this month as well. I've got a strong Nintendo focus, but there's a bit of PlayStation 5 in there as well. So let's get into the content. Let me show you what I've bought and discuss some of it, and then you can tell me what you think of this month's pickups. So I'm going to start with PlayStation 5, as I say, and I have had these sat now behind me so long that I'd actually forgotten what I got in this little set. A couple of odd ones that I hadn't come across before. One very kind of mainline game that you'll all know and love, and then one that I couldn't believe how cheap I picked it up for, that has come in a really great little collector's tin and sleeve. So let's start with the big one. I already own this game on the Xbox One, but I really want to play it on the PS5, and I wanted the Ultimate Edition, and that is Cyberpunk 2077. I nearly triple dipped on this and bought it for the Switch too, but I haven't, and I'm sticking to my guns, and if I play this at all, because I have started it once before, I will play it on the PS5. Main reason I bought this is I just think that PlayStation is going to be a great place to play this, and with the Portal giving me options to play it in different parts of the house, I thought that was a really good idea. I wanted to get the add-ons anyway, so I thought why not. It was, I think, about £30 on Amazon. Been watching it for a while and picked that one up. Sticking with the PS5, I then added a couple of shooters. Now one of these, I'm pretty sure I saw Geb24, another great YouTuber in the gaming space, pick up, and I thought, I've never heard of this game, what is it? And that game is called Rogue Flight. Now this, again, I want to say was about 15 or 20 pounds. It includes the physical Rogue Flight official manual, which I will show more pictures of in the B-roll, but is a really nice high quality manual. You just don't see that in games anymore, as well as some picture cards. But in terms of what the game is, it describes itself as a breathtaking arcade space combat game inspired by landmark style 80s and 90s prestige anime. Jump into true stylish arcade combat with branching narrative and multiple endings. And it's a shooter basically. It looks like it's a 3D shooter, so it's going to be interesting to see how this looks. It does say there's standard arcade and unlockable roguelike game modes. But I just thought that visually it looked really interesting. I think it's relatively short, and to me that's not a bad thing. And for the price, it was a nice, sort of unusual one to add to the PS5 collection. I also then stuck with the shooting genre, and this one actually popped up while browsing for that one on Amazon. So again, I don't know much about this. It could be absolutely awful, and I also don't know how you pronounce it. I'm going to say, and I'll let you decide what you think, Signney? Assuming that's a C? Yeah, C. Signney. So it says on the back, join Ava on her mission to defend Signney Prime from a relentless alien onslaught in a truly next-gen shoot-'em-up. So it's a shmup. It looks visually really pretty. And again, I'm sure it's going to be super short and fun to play. And I just wanted something that I could pop in and have a mess around with. It does say it's 1 to 2 players. So that could be interesting to see how the co-op experience handles. But yeah, so that is my third and last but one pickup for the PlayStation this month. And that then leaves me with the last game. Now I stumbled across this through a video on IGN's website. Well, their YouTube. I don't browse their website anymore, haven't done that for a long time. And I remember watching this review and thinking, that looks really interesting. I wonder how much that goes for. It was pretty new at the time. And I think, again, I paid less than £20 for this. The game is called The Precinct, and what I particularly liked about this one is that it comes in a really nice kind of cardboard sleeve, and then a really nice metal tin, steelbook, who calls it a tin. Now, in terms of the gameplay, it says here, explore a vibrant city, fight crime and investigate its darkest secrets. The limited edition includes a steelbook, map of the city and the digital soundtrack. And it just looks like a really interesting game. You play from the police perspective. Again, I think this is one of these games that I can pick up and play fairly casually and not have to worry too much about intense time drains or never finishing it, or even bothering to finish it. At the price I paid for some of these titles, if I only play them for a couple of hours and enjoy it, I don't really care. So those are my PlayStation pickups. I've got a little bit of Nintendo next, and I'm going to start with the more modern and work my way backwards. So I've got 3 Switch games to show you. The first one is one that I had come across on Callum's channel, the Retro Ghetto, sorry, and yeah, he talked about this one. I'd never heard of it before. Saw the I think he picked it up on, it was either on the Switch or the PlayStation, I think he got it on, but I think it's a SNES game ultimately, or 2 SNES games rolled into one, and that is Pocky and Rocky Reshrined. Again, I wouldn't say this is my kind of game typically. It would have been back in the day, but I don't play as many of the retro games or modern retro games as I should do. So I'm looking forward to giving this a go. It says, continuing this high-paced sequel of the legendary series. Oh, so it's not a remake. Play alone in story mode or with a friend in free mode. Play as Pocky, Rocky, or one of 3 new characters and try and top the online leaderboards. I'm thoroughly enjoying my Switch 2 still. I know that it's getting a little bit of stick in the press. Personally, it is, if you see it as a Switch upgrade, you're not going to be disappointed. And it's great, it's fast, it's bigger. I took it on a train with me the other day and thoroughly enjoyed it. And these are the kind of games that will go really nicely kind of for travel purposes. Just stick it in, a little bit of mindless shooting or similar kind of play, and just enjoy it. So that is number 1. Then we get into a couple of special editions. So I waited for this one. It's been out for a little while, but I waited for the physical release, and that is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. It's specifically the deluxe edition. Again, I will include some appropriate footage over the top of this so you can see what's in here. But first of all, look at that like holographic sheen on the box. Love that. Now this includes obviously the collector's box, the game itself, physical release, a steelbook, which looks like on the back here, and I haven't even opened this myself yet, so I'll be opening this for the first time to do B-roll. It's got the Green Ranger's flute on a green steelbook. That looks really cool. Some trading cards, a lenticular postcard, and some sort of a poster by the looks of it. So a really nice little set. I know the game itself didn't get the absolute best reviews. I think it's from the same people that made the Turtles remake recently, or I could be wrong, I might be making that up, but it certainly gave me that feeling of that kind of retro revival kind of concept. I loved the Power Rangers as a kid, especially the kind of, again, I'm a bit of a Gen 1 guy, so Gen 1 Pokemon, Gen 1 Power Rangers, but really like the idea of that one. So I'm sure, again, I'll pop that in the Switch, have good fun with that, but also I've got just a very small Power Rangers shrine in my man cave, so that'll go really nicely on that shelf as well. And then the other Switch one actually came through the Ghetto Gang Discord community. Not a game that had been on my radar previously, or one that I played, but when I saw the pictures of this collector's edition, I was like, I've got to have that. And I've heard a lot about this series of games and thought that would be fun to play. And again, my understanding here is that these are effectively remasters of the early games. And that is this beast of a collector's edition. It's Blaster Master 0 and 02. Now this collector's edition has got lots of stuff in, so again I will put plenty of B-roll to show you all of the cool stuff in here, but if I remember rightly, and I'm trying to look for something on the box that tells me exactly what's in here, I'm going to get this wrong, so I will cover it in more detail, but there are a couple of faux NES cartridges, which I assume is where Blaster Master first came out. There are 2 fairly chunky metal vehicles, which again look like they're the vehicles from the game. I think on the back here it says Sophia 3, Nora MA01, and Earth MA01, Gaia Sophia. That means absolutely nothing to me, but I'm sure when I play the game it will. The games are obviously in here in the Switch boxes. In fact, it says here, look, 2 games, 2 metal tanks, 2 NES cartridge replicas, and a limited edition art print. But the box alone, it's just such a cool piece that's going to have pride and place on my shelf. So thank you to the member of that community who sold this to me. I won't name them here, but really appreciate that. And that's going in the collection. And then we're going back a little bit. So this is going to hopefully, if it works and it's untested, feature in a future RetroQuest episode. Now, I say that now, I haven't tested this, so if it doesn't work, I obviously won't be doing that. But I hope it will work, and I picked this up at the same time that I picked up the Gears of War Lancer that you'll have seen on last week's episode, the Gold Lancer. I never owned this as a kid. I did play on it once upon a time. I don't even think it's all that good, to be perfectly honest, but I am a Super Nintendo boy at heart, so I had to have it, and that is the SNES Super Scope, or Nintendo Scope 6, depending on what you want to call it. And if you ever played this one back in the day, I guess it was the attempted follow-up to the light gun for the NES, which so famously played beautifully with Duck Hunt. It says here, take aim and fire a whole library of Nintendo Scope games in one cartridge. Scores a bullseye. With 6 games included, Nintendo Scope puts you behind the sight of the most advanced game firing device ever developed for any video game system. Fire from any position, sitting or standing, from virtually anywhere in the room, the Nintendo Scope is cordless to provide a maximum agility and movement. Infrared technology allows you pinpoint accuracy, and the shoulder mount and responsive controls guarantee a sure and steady aim. The sight is easily adjusted for right or left-handed gameplay, and the Nintendo Scope adds a new dimension to the fun you get from the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Now, I think unfortunately, so the games itself on here are look like some sort of missile shooting game, a flight game, something called Confront, which looks like an alien shooting game, and then you've got some sort of whack-a-mole and then 2 Tetris-esque style games. I think there was only ever, and correct me in the comments because this could be wrong, I think there's only ever one other title for this device, which I might try and pick up at some point. But certainly this particular one is in good condition. The box has got a little bit of wear, a bit of patina, but it's not too bad. And then all of the bits are inside, leaflets and all. So I'm hoping it'll work when I plug it all in. And if it does, as I said, I will be sure to make a RetroQuest episode on this, because I've never truly experienced this. So it'll be fun to try it now in the modern day and kind of assess how it stands up. But yeah, so that's the Nintendo Scope. And then the last 2 things were actually not pickups per se, but gifts. So thank you, first of all, to someone from my work, it's not Mary this time, who recently took a trip to Japan and picked me up a little something from one of the retro secondhand stores in Japan. And my criteria for this, when she said she was going, was that it had Japanese writing on the front and ideally Mario. I said I didn't care what it was after that. Certainly didn't want her to spend a lot of money, just something that was Japanese with Mario on, and she absolutely delivered on that. So I'll show you the game first, and that is Mario Tennis 64. But look at that, fantastic artwork. I love the Japanese covers, and even the back is really cool as well. I'll just try to show you that on camera if I can. Hopefully that's coming through. As I said in the intro, and you might be wondering what that phrase was all about, it's actually on this box. So the only bit of English on the cover here, and it's also on the spine, is this weird slogan, and it literally says, "For all players hoping to touch the true entertainment." Now, I don't own any other Japanese Nintendo games, certainly not any N64 games. I don't know if this was a kind of an N64 slogan, whether it has something to do with tennis. I don't know why that would be the case. But either way, I was absolutely thrilled. I honestly didn't expect her to bring me anything back. And I was really chuffed when she did. And when I saw what it was, I was like, that's perfect. That's going to look great on my little display shelf with my other games. I love anything with Mario, Nintendo, and from the home of Nintendo as well. So thank you, Beth, for bringing that back. If you're watching, this will have pride and place in my office. And as I say, remember everyone to, as it says here, for all players hoping to touch the true entertainment. No idea. And then this last one not so much games, but gaming adjacent. And this comes courtesy of my mom, actually, who took a trip to America for the first time, and she went to New York. And for those who know, there are basically, I think, 3 official Nintendo stores around the globe. One is in San Francisco, one is in New York, and one is in Japan, presumably Tokyo, but I don't know that for sure. So she went to the Nintendo store in New York, and she rang me from the store and said, "What do you want?" And I'm like, how can I possibly answer that question from halfway around the world when I'm not stood in front of whatever it is you can see? So I just said, can you ask the store attendants, is there anything in the store that you can only get in the New York Nintendo store? So she did, and they signposted it to a couple of bits, and that's what she picked up. So I thought I'd share those with you. I will say, I don't know if they're absolutely only available in the New York store. This is what she was told. I think you can probably pick them up elsewhere, but they now have a meaning and they have a story and they mean something to me. So first of all, I'll show you the bag, which I really love. So this is the bag that it comes in. Look at that handsome man, that little plumber. And it does say on the side here, Rockefeller Plaza. The bag's actually arguably cooler than anything else. And it says New York Nintendo at the top there. If I can get that into focus, there we go. Inside the bag, there are a couple of bits. So the first thing I will show you, did tickle me when I saw this, because I'm not particularly a plushie collector, but I do love this series. It's the Statue of Liberty Pikachu. It's random. It's going on a shelf, undoubtedly going on the shelf. I'm leaving the label and everything on because I just think it's cool. So yeah, New York specific Pikachu. She also bought me then a couple of bits in here, so let me just grab the first. This is definitely not New York only, but it's pretty cool, and that is Brick Breaking Candies Super Mario. So it's just a little Super Mario tin. It's got some little sweets in. Probably won't bother opening that or eating those, to be honest, but kind of fun, little Mario. And then the last piece for the video to share with you is this cool mug. Now again, she was told you could only get this in the Nintendo store. I suspect it's not unique to New York.
Unique New York.
Unique New York. You'll get the reference. But it's this really cool mug, and if I just kind of bring that up to camera so you can see it, I'll maybe try and do some B-roll. It's Mario ink, full colour, and then a sort of really nice, it's got a nice feel to it actually, white mug with all the different Goombas getting pounded around the outside, and then it's red in the inside. So I love that. I don't think I can bring myself to drink out of it. I think again it needs a place on the shelf, so it'll probably go on there. Unless you disagree, let me know in the comments. Should I be using this mug every day, or do I treasure it and put it on a shelf? I'd be gutted if I broke it. So there you go. Those are my pickups for this month. I hope you've enjoyed sifting through some random bits there. As I say, apologies that we're not in the studio as normal. Hopefully the sound's been okay and you've been able to hear me and the picture quality stayed okay. I don't have any of my lights out here. I'm using nature's softbox, so we'll see how we get on. And that's it, I guess. Nothing more to say on this video. I won't keep you any longer. We are now incredibly close. At the point at which I'm recording this, I'm at 499 subscribers. The pain of getting to this 500 is real. So if you haven't subscribed and you're one of those that likes to watch the content and you've enjoyed this video and want to see more from me, please do subscribe. Let's get to that 500 mark. That's a really important milestone for me this year. And it would be great to achieve that, in the first half. We've slightly tipped into July now, but I'd let it go. Comment down below, what was your favourite pickup from this month. It's pickups, anything in there that really stood out to you. I've got some other interesting bits and a Metal Gear Solid piece for next month, but I'm holding that one back. And yeah, I think I'll leave you there for this video. Thanks so much as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.